Hello, this is Donovan with Peak Performance Plumbing, performing a residential septic line scope as well as a gutter downspout scope. So right now we're actually in the downspout system. This appears to be a drywell system versus a French drain system, which French drains are far more efficient and superior to these drywells, but drywells are definitely more common in Central Oregon. Essentially what this is we have this corrugated pipe we're inside of, and the drywell is just an area that was dug out at some point when this line was installed, and therefore all the rainwater this catches just ends up running to the end of this corrugated pipe and drains out from there. Yeah, the problem with drywells is they tend to fail pretty early after installation. Just the nature of only having one exit point. This is a French drain, but more than likely the PVC pipe with holes drilled through the side, and I have not seen that. I have no reason to believe that this would be a French drain. So we're heading back in reverse, back upstream towards the gutter. And I forgot to mention where the end of this line was at. I actually marked with a white marking flag up top. It's actually right between the fire pit and the tree nearest to the fire pit. So if any further exploration was desired, we could definitely start by digging this up there and confirming that it is in fact a drywell. I'm fairly certain just based on what I'm seeing in here. There are a couple sections where, as you've seen, there's some buildup of just mud and debris. It's pretty normal. The problem with these drywells is there's no good way to service them. This is a French drain. I'd recommend hydrojetting service, but if we were to hydrojet this, it would just create a muddy mess. Not too much good. Okay, so that will conclude the downspout portion of this. We'll just keep the camera rolling, and we'll move just a few feet away to septic cleanout. Here we are. So immediately we see a transition to cast iron. We'll go ahead and clean off the camera lens real quick so we can get better visuals. A little better. So this is a transition point from ABS to cast iron. we go. Use that little puddle of standing water to clean off the camera lens. Yeah, this cast iron doesn't appear to be in the greatest condition. There we go. Okay, so this is the... Oh, I thought this was the septic tank inlet, but it's not. This appears to be an offset. So right now we're in the bottom of the pipe, and this offset's going to drop us down lower. So that's where this is a transition point here. You can see at the top of the screen that lip of the pipe. That's ABS pipe, which is a plastic pipe. This more than likely is a repaired section, or if that septic tank has been replaced, it might have tied on here. But it's not common to see cast iron sandwiched in between two lines. Let's see how far this goes. Unless there's a repair that was made. So, okay, now we're looking inside the septic tank, which ABS runs all the way to it. So yeah, a portion of this line has been replaced, which is good because that cast iron does not appear to be in great condition. So, another thing to note, this standing water in here is what we consider a belly, which is a sag in a sewer or septic line, which is a negative thing. It's not something we want to see. It slows down flow and can cause backups. So you see the pipe is dry here. Your septic and sewers should always be basically empty, maybe dry unless they're in use. If they're holding water when there's no fixtures being used, there are no fixtures being used, that's a sure sign that you have a belly. All this water covering the camera lens is the bellied section, really from the point of the transition to the tank. And I'll have this area marked above the pipe with white marking flags so you can see where the belly starts and ends. So this belly is about 4 feet long. I wouldn't consider this a terribly severe belly, but it is worth noting. So we'll continue back towards the home so we can get better visuals now that the camera lens is cleaned up quite a bit. It's kind of hard to see, but on the bottom left corner of the screen is actually the bottom of the pipe, and there's kind of a channel worn into the cast iron. It's very common to see in older cast iron systems. It's essentially where the cast iron is deteriorating and wearing away. Eventually that'll wear to the point where it'll just be bare ground below it, and at that point it tends to catch a lot of solids and becomes unserviceable. I've actually got a camera stuck in a pipe because the bottom was out and it was just wide enough for the camera to drop through, and then I pulled back and it got wedged and required to dig up. So it's not a great problem to have, but yeah, this cast iron, it's definitely towards the end of its lifespan. Transition back to ABS, and now we're inside of the cleanout, and now we're out of the system. That that will conclude our septic line scope service for the day.